All right, today we are cracking open the financial engine of the new project. We're going to follow the money step by step to really understand how this whole system is designed for both security and, well, long-term growth. Let's dive right in. At its heart, this entire model is built on two really powerful ideas. First up is financial integrity, making sure every single transaction is secure, accurate, and totally transparent. The second is what they call infinite recursion. This idea of creating a system that can grow sustainably pretty much forever. So, how do they actually make those two pieces fit together? So, here's the journey we're going to take. We'll start with how every penny is secured, then we'll look at how it's actually distributed. After that, we'll break down the structure that triggers the payments, the recursive loop that keeps it all going, a pretty big bonus for leaders, and finally, we'll wrap up with the compliance framework that holds the whole thing together. Okay, everything, and I mean everything, starts with trust. Before a single dollar can move, the system has to guarantee that every transaction is 100% legitimate. This is the bedrock that everything else is built on top of. So this first layer of security is a concept they call the holding tank. The best way to picture this is like a financial airlock. 100% of the money from core sales goes in, but absolutely nothing comes out until it's been completely verified. It's basically a filter that guarantees accuracy right from the jump. And the whole goal here is just absolute precision. In a lot of compensation plans, little things like ghost balances or tiny rounding errors can pop up and cause huge problems down the line. This system is engineered specifically to prevent that, making sure the numbers you see are exactly the numbers you get. So once the money is verified in that holding tank, where does it actually go? Well, that brings us to the 10-30-60 protocol, which really breaks down the anatomy of every single transaction. As you can see, the distribution is a super clean three-way split. Out of every verified sale, 10% goes to the company, 30% goes to the owner of that specific grid position, and then the biggest piece, a full 60%, goes to the sponsoring leader. Let's break that down just a bit more. That 10%, well, that's for the company operating fund. It's what keeps the platform stable and secure. The 30% is the matrix owner earning, and that gets paid directly to the person whose grid spot was just filled. And that massive 60%, that's the sponsor bonus, and it's specifically designed to reward leaders for building up and supporting their teams. So what is it that actually triggers these payments in the first place? Well, it all comes down to a really simple community structure that kind of acts like the engine for the whole system. The mechanics here are incredibly straightforward. You start with 2 spots right under you, and then 4 spots on the level below that. And that's it. The system fills these 6 positions with surgical precision, always top to bottom and always left to right. No confusion, no complicated rules, just a clean, predictable flow. Okay, so we've seen how a grid fills up once. But honestly, the real power in this model, the thing that makes it unique, is what happens next. This is the mechanism that turns what could be a one-time thing into a potentially recurring asset. It's the natural question, right? Once those 6 spots are filled, is that it? Is it over? Do you have to start from scratch all over again? Well, the answer is what makes this system recursive. And here's the answer. It's called the recursive recycle. The very moment that 6th and final spot gets filled, the system doesn't just stop. It automatically cycles you into a brand new, totally empty grid. And you don't get left behind. You just seamlessly follow your original sponsor right into their new grid. This follow your sponsor logic is literally hard-coded into the system. The idea is that you build your team once, and this perpetual cycle makes sure that team keeps following you into new grids again and again. The goal here is to move beyond just one-time sales and actually build a long-term asset. Now, for all the network marketing professionals and team builders out there, this next part is absolutely critical. This is where the compensation plan directly rewards leadership with some pretty undeniable math. Just look at this direct comparison. When an affiliate on your team gets a position filled in their grid, they earn their 30% share. Great, but because you are their sponsor, the system simultaneously pays you your 60% sponsor bonus on that exact same transaction. Let's just put a number on it. That 60% sponsor bonus is a 200% match of the affiliate's 30% earning. The math is simple. The sponsor literally earns double what their team member earns on the very same placement. This creates this incredibly powerful built-in incentive for sponsors to really help their team succeed.
And finally, let's be real. None of this matters if the platform isn't built on a secure and compliant foundation. So let's take a look at the safeguards that are in place to make this a viable global business.
The terminology here is really important. The source makes it crystal clear that this is not a gifting program or a circle program. It's defined specifically as a globally compliant affiliate placement system, which is a recognized and legitimate business model for tracking and rewarding sales commissions.
And this is all supported by a few key features. The system is designed for CRA and international compliance. There's also a feature called Proxy View that gives the CEO, Patrick Coachman, total administrative oversight, which adds yet another layer of security and transparency to the whole platform. And this whole system isn't some idea for the future, it's live right now. You can check out the official source for yourself at newproject.com. And that really brings us to the key takeaway from all of this. This isn't just a concept. It's a live engine with a transparent ledger right now. The question it leaves us with is a pretty big one. What happens when you actually code financial integrity and perpetual growth into the very same system?